In Sweden, the 2024 Right Livelihood Award, which honors courageous change makers, has been handed to 4 winners. Issa Amro, founder of a movement in Hebron, which is against illegal Israeli settlements in the Palestinian territories. Filipino activist Joan Carling celebrated for her work defending the rights of Indigenous people. Anabela Lemos from Mozambique honored for her efforts for climate justice. And the 4th winner of this year's award is the British-based group Forensic Architecture, which investigates human rights abuses. And here's a closer look at the research organization founded in 2010 by British-Israeli architect Eyal Weizman.
This team won this year's Alternative Nobel Prize for uncovering environmental and human rights violations by visually reconstructing events like political conflicts, violence, fires, accidents, and abuses.
So basically, what I'm working on right now is a reconstruction of one of the concentration camps.
As well as this image, which shows the reconstruction of the car that 6-year-old Palestinian girl Hind Rajab was in when she was shot by Israeli gunfire in January. One of their most significant cases was the Grenfell Tower fire in London in 2017, which was the deadliest in the UK since World War II. Their team explained how it analysed the fire's spread.
Over the course, we collected several hundred of those images when the fire took place, and we were able to synchronize those on a timeline, but we were also able to use them to understand the development of the fire over time. And we used a process called motion tracking in order to understand the movement of the camera. So these dots that you can see here are tracking the motion of the witness of the camera.
With over 100 investigations in 31 countries, they have revealed truths about war crimes, environmental injustices and genocides. Its founder Eyal Weizman says by looking at small details, one can understand the bigger picture of history. Even before winning the Right Livelihood Award, they had already made a significant impact, serving as evidence in major legal cases worldwide. Their work has helped attain justice for affected communities such as migrants in Greece and Ukrainians affected by the Russian invasion.
And I can now speak to Bob Trafford. He's the Assistant Director of Forensic Architecture. Bob, welcome to DW and congratulations on this award. What does it mean for you and your group?
Hey, good morning. Thank you very much. Of course, we're extremely grateful. I'm really honored, looking down the list of people who've won this award. It's some of the leading lights of human rights in the last 45 years, and it's really an honor to be considered among them and alongside our other 3 fantastic laureates. We really share this honor today, I want to say, with all of our sister organizations and allies. We have our partners and friends around the world, and without them, this work wouldn't be possible.
We saw some of your work in the report, but could you briefly tell us a little about how you work? How do you select issues to work on? How do you gather information? What's your process?
Yeah, of course. So one way of thinking about the way that we work is that we've developed a set of digital research techniques which can turn that huge amount of information which is available online in open sources in the public domain into robust evidence. So that might mean that when somebody is shot by police at a protest, or when, there seems to be some building noise, and I can't hear that too loud. When somebody is shot by the police at a protest, or when a bomb falls in a crowded civilian neighborhood, something that regrettably we're seeing an awful lot of in the recent years. When an incident like that happens, it's captured by dozens of different mobile phones. Maybe somebody films just before the bomb falls. Maybe somebody films emergency services running into the aftermath. Now, our techniques are very good at turning those fragments of information into a robust story, into robust evidence about how that incident played out. And then what we want to do is to use that information to challenge state claims, often the accounts of police, militaries and states, about how that incident played out and who was responsible.
How is your work?
What we do with that information is we take it to legal.
Exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I think that was where you were going. How has your work, as you just laid it out, made a difference in the world so far?
So we want to take our work into legal spaces, into courtrooms and political processes as much as possible, of course, and that's where we've seen our work being presented at the UN General Assembly, in the European Court of Human Rights, the ICC, the ICJ, and probably a dozen national courtrooms around the world. But we know that change and justice and accountability, those aren't things that only happen in courtrooms and political spaces. So we also take our work into gallery exhibitions and into cultural spaces where we feel like we can reach a different audience, a much larger audience in new ways, and platform the voices of the individuals and communities and families with and whom we work to investigate state violence and violations of their rights.
Is there one single project that you're most proud of?
We're very proud of all of the work that we do. Of course, we've investigated and published more than 100 times in the last decade. I've just come back from Istanbul, where we've opened an exhibition into the 2020 terror attacks in Hanau in the south of Germany. This has been one of our most profound cases, I can say personally for me. We've now exhibited this work 6 times around Germany and now in Istanbul, which we think is a very important place to take this work and to talk about this story of German extremism, white racist extremism against racialized and migrant communities, and to use a space like that, a cultural space like that, to platform the voices of the mothers and fathers who lost their children in the most appalling way and who have suffered continually thereafter. The ignorance and the complacency and at times the racism of the German state. It's been very, very significant for us to give them a way to speak about their story and their experience after what's been a really appalling act of violence.
Yeah. What do you hope to achieve in the future with your group and maybe also now with this award on the shelf?
Well, we hope to keep doing the work that we're doing and to keep sharing our techniques with as many new organizations in our field as we can. You know, we have sister organizations today in Berlin, in Athens, in Paris, in Ramallah, in Bogota, in Mexico City, really all around the world. And we want to keep supporting them to grow, to work in their own contexts. The support of the Right Livelihood Award is incredibly significant in that project. You know, it's hard to think of a busier time for the human rights field in the last couple of years, and I fear that it's only going to get worse. And so to have our work recognized and to have attention drawn to it is really very significant for us. We're very grateful.
Is Bob Trafford of Forensic Architecture, one of the recipients of this year's Right Livelihood Award. Great speaking to you, and congratulations on the great work.